Hey there, drone fans. Rick here again from Drone Valley. In today's clip, I'd like to review a brand new portable power bank from our friends over at IQIYI that I think you're going to find pretty interesting, especially if you're a fan of Apple products. Now, what makes this product so unique in the market is that the company's designed this to be a 2-in-1 charger, which means you can connect up a standard cable through a USB-A connection and charge your portable devices, your phones and your tablets out in the field. What makes it really unique is they've actually included the specialized connector you need, the magnetic connection, to charge your Apple Watch out in the field. And I travel a lot for my job, and I love having a portable charging solution like this with me that allows me to charge all my devices simultaneously, because even though I can charge my Apple Watch when I'm back at the hotel or I'm near an outlet, there are a lot of times where I have a long day, this thing runs down, maybe I forgot to charge it the night before, and having a charging solution like this with me that I can just snap on the back of that watch and charge it up while I'm sitting there talking to a client or whatever I happen to be doing is a really big benefit. Now, in the spirit of full disclosure, I've owned this thing for a couple of weeks now and I love it. I actually sent the company an email and said, look, you've got a great product. Why don't you let me review it on the channel? And they were so excited. They said, sure, we'd love to have you review it and we'll actually send you one so you don't have to buy another one. I don't need a second one of these. And as I like to do on the channel, I want to give this one away to you guys because you support the channel and I appreciate that. Now, all you have to do to enter the contest is there's a link below. Just go down there, enter your email address and your subscriber name, and we'll, after a week's time, pull one person out at random. I'll put this thing in an envelope and I'll ship it to you. And I don't care where in the world you live. There's no shipping charges, no strings attached. It's just a free giveaway. Now, the reason we changed the contest a little bit and ask you for your subscriber name is that when I look back on all the stuff that we've given away so far, a lot of times people come into the channel just looking for a free giveaway and they're not really subscribers or they're not really interested in the content. And I feel bad giving stuff to people that really aren't that interested in what we're putting out. So this time we're just asking for your subscriber's name. If you haven't subscribed yet, just hit the subscribe button down there and add yourself to the list. You'll be all set to go. So that's pretty much it for the contest. Now, the unit itself, let me talk about the specs. I'm going to do an unboxing and then I'll do a couple of close-ups to show you how to use it. Very simple device to use. But the unit itself is incredibly intelligent. It's got 2100 milliampere hours of power. So it's got a good amount of power inside of it, which means you can charge your phone a couple of times, charge your watch a couple of times on a full charge. It's got a standard USB-A connection on the end, which you use to connect up an external device through any cable you happen to have. It's got a micro USB connection on it, and that's what you use to charge the device. And of course, it's got the magnetic connection that would snap onto your watch. It's got intelligence built into it as well, because one of the things I worry about with some of the brands of these portable battery banks is they're not real smart, which means they're just going to start firing electrons at whatever you connect up to it. This one's got over current protection, over voltage protection. It's got temperature sensitivity. If you short circuit it, it's not going to burst into flames. So they've really built in a lot of smarts into this thing to take a good look at what you're connecting up to it and make sure it adjusts the charging current and voltage if necessary to the device that you're connecting up to it. So it's a really smart device from that perspective. So let me open up the box and we'll get a good look at it. I dropped my watch there. All right, so the box itself's got a lot of good information, nice picture on the front of the unit, a lot of certifications on the back. That's really important because if you buy a product that doesn't have these type of certifications on it, you're not really sure if they've even tested the product. It could just be a battery inside of a case that they're shipping out to you. So I always like to check and make sure that they've gone through certifications. Inside the box, the first thing you'll notice is the manual, and I'm a big fan of having printed manuals. In here's all the instructions you'll need to understand how to charge the unit and how to use it to charge whatever external device you've got and your Apple Watch. So good on you guys for printing that. And here's the unit. Now the unit itself, the construction of this is really well done. It's all metal external construction, and that's something else that scares me a lot with these smaller chargers with other companies is they'll build them out of plastic, and that seems great, but the problem is the plastic isn't real durable, and if I throw it in my bag or my backpack and I'm off traveling for the day, if something heavy comes up against it, I can crush it and crack the case. With this one being a harder material, it really protects you. It also has a nice flat top on it. Some of the other ones that are starting to come out with these type of connectors have a little bit of a curved top to it, and the watch will slide off that. So with this one, the watch sits right on top of that magnetic connection. And like I'd mentioned, there's a full-size USB-A connection down the bottom. You can connect up any standard cable for an external device to charge it off that. And there's a micro USB connection on there as well. That's the one you'll connect up to a power supply or to a wall outlet to charge this unit. On the front of the unit, you've got a button here. If you tap that button, you'll see 4 LEDs above it. It powers on, it goes through a self-test to make sure everything's okay. Then it'll flash the number of LEDs for the amount of charge that's in the unit. So there's 4 LEDs, four lit up mean you have 100%, 3 is 75, 50, and 25%. Gives you a real good indication of how many charges you have left in it. And then up top is where the connector was made for the Apple Watch. So I'd mentioned before, specialized connector. The minute I snap this on the back of the watch, it'll start charging that watch. And I'll show you that in the close-ups coming up. In addition to the unit, they give you a nice small cable here that you can use for both charging the unit and connecting it up to devices. So it's got a USB-A connection on one end and a micro USB on the other end. So when you're charging this, you connect up the micro USB, connect this up to a wall charger or your computer to charge it. If you happen to have a device that'll charge off of a micro USB I should say, you can use it to charge your device as well. So it's kind of a dual functional cable, which is nice. It's really short, and I thought to myself, well, that's not great because I really want to have a longer cable to charge it. But honestly, it's the perfect length because it's long enough where if you have a charger on the wall, you can plug it in and set it on top of the charger. And it's short enough too, where if you're charging a device off of it, you don't want to have this big 3-meter cable hanging on the table. So I like the fact that they included it. A lot of these chargers don't come with a cable like that. And I thought, well, that's a really nice touch that they actually built that in. So that's what you get with the unboxing. Now, if you stay tuned, I'm actually going to do a hands-on and give you some close-ups of how I use the device and how it charges. Then I'll come back with some conclusions at the end. Very, very cool product. In this section, I wanted to provide a few close-ups of the portable power bank and show you just how easy it is to use. The unit itself has got a very durable case, like I'd mentioned earlier. It's a metal case, unlike a lot of the plastic ones that I always worry about throwing in my bag and having them come up against something heavy and cracking. This one's going to last you a long time. On the one end, I've got two connections, a USB-A connection here, which is used for connecting a cable to charge your external device. I've also got a micro USB connection on here, and that's the one you'll connect up to an external power supply or your computer to charge the device before you leave for the day. On the front of the unit, you've got a power button. When I tap that power button, it's going to go through a power on self-test. It'll strobe up through the lights, and then it'll settle on a group of LEDs being lit, and that'll show you how much power you've got left in the unit. So if I tap it, you'll see it'll strobe up, and then it'll settle into a pattern of LEDs. In this case, I've got 3 out of 4 lit, which means I've got 75% charge left in it. On the top, I've got that specialized adapter for the Apple Watch, which is magnetic, and I left the plastic on there because I'm going to actually ship this one out to you guys, whoever wins that contest. But basically, when you bring this next to the watch, the magnetics inside here will grab onto the back of the watch and start charging it immediately. So let me show you that. So there's the watch. It's not being charged presently. The minute I bring it up close, listen carefully. You hear it click in? It actually grabs it with the magnet, and you can see the charging has started. Now, you can just charge your watch alone, and I do that some days where I don't have to charge my phone or my tablet, and it'll just sit there and charge that watch fully over time. But if you want to charge something else, you can use a cable that came with your phone or your tablet, connect up the USB-A connection down here, set this guy down, and then the minute you connect it up, say for example to your iPhone, you'll see that it'll start charging. Now what's really nice is that I can have that phone charge while I'm charging my Apple Watch. So a lot of times when I'm on the road, I've got to charge both these devices. And you can see right now that the phone is charging and the Apple Watch is charging at the same time. And again, with 2100 milliampere hours of power in there, it gives me a couple of charges on my phone. It'll top off my watch a couple of times. So it's not the biggest charger on the market or portable battery bank, but it's got plenty of power to take care of most of your needs for an average day. It's got overcurrent protection, over voltage protection. It's got short circuit protection built in. So it's really built to be a smart charger that'll, safely charge any of your devices out there in the field pretty much as you need them for an afternoon's of use. So stay tuned and I'll come back with a couple of conclusions after having used this thing for the last couple of weeks. Now that I've shown you what comes in the box and how to use the unit, I thought I'd give you a couple of my impressions after having used this product for the last few weeks. Now, I've reviewed a lot of power banks on the channel, and there are a lot of good models out there, but the one problem I've got is when I'm on the road and I've got my Apple Watch with me and I want to charge it, I've got to carry that long cable with the special connector on the end, which is just one more thing I've got to drag along when I'm traveling. So having something small like this that I can snap onto the back of my watch anytime I need to recharge it is a wonderful thing. And the fact that it's also got a USB-A connection on it means I can charge my phone, I can charge some other devices with me out in the field. So for me, this is a perfect solution. Very smart device, like I'd mentioned. It's got over current, over voltage, over temperature protection. It'll protect you against short circuits. So if it's dropped into your bag and heaven forbid something gets down in the end that's conductive, it's not going to burst into flames on you. So they really thought this thing through from a lot of different angles. It's got plenty of power. It's 2100 milliampere hours, which isn't the biggest power bank you're bringing along, but I always talk about that balance between weight and capacity. A lot of times people want to go for the biggest power bank they can buy, and that's great, but you're carrying this big brick along with you. This seems to be a perfect balance for me to have a small enough charger to charge my Apple Watch and another device and not have some big heavy thing in my bag that I've got to drag along and come home with 50% of it still charged. So nice that they include the cable. They give you a full printed manual, everything you need to get this thing up and running. Very inexpensive product, and I like it an awful lot. So hopefully you find this clip helpful. If you have questions about this or any of the technologies I've talked about, drop them in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Please enter the contest because I cannot wait to ship this thing out to some lucky winner on the channel. As long as you're a subscriber, you're going to be in that contest to win it. So thanks an awful lot for watching. I love doing these kind of clips, so hopefully you guys find these things helpful. And again, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, happy flying.